The Drifters, by James A. Michener. Copyright 1971 by Random House Incorporated. This is a novel. The characters were invented by the author, and any resemblance to persons living or dead is accidental. 3 of the geographical settings have also been invented: the Republic of Warda, Karash Pass, and, to afford a concentration of ecological problems, the Zambela Game Sanctuary. All the other locales are real, although the drinking spots described therein are imaginary. Chapter 1. Joe. Youth is truth. No man is so foolish as to desire war more than peace, for in peace sons bury their fathers, but in war fathers bury their sons. Herodotus. The greatest coup engineered by the university in recent years had been the employment of Dr. Richard Conover, Nobel Prize winner in biology. He added much luster to the faculty, but his principal work continued to focus in Washington, where he was conducting experiments on nerve gases for the Department of Defense. This meant that he was unable to do any actual teaching at the university. His courses were handled by a series of attractive young men who were, on the average, 2½ years older than the university students, 4% more intelligent, and 6% better adjusted. Of course, students could sometimes catch a glimpse of Dr. Conover heading for the airport on Sunday afternoon, and this reassured them. War is good business. Invest your sons. The university had lost its way, and everyone knew it except the Board of Regents, the alumni, the faculty, and 90% of the students. I am a serious student. Please do not spindle, fold, or staple me. He was looking through all the markets to find a Christmas present for LBJ. What he had in mind was a set of dominoes. God damn it, I wish you'd listen to my main argument. 30 years from now, the government, the banks, the important businesses, the universities, and everything that counts in this world will be run by today's humanities majors. The scientists will never run anything except laboratories. They never have. They never can. Yet in this university we spend all our time and money training scientists, and we ignore the humanities people on whom the welfare and guidance of the world have always depended, and will always depend. I say this is stupidity, and if the Board of Regents and the faculty aren't smart enough to stop it, we must. Better a certain peace than a hoped-for victory. Livy. When they conk you on the head with their billy sticks, zap them right back with super love. With men, the normal state of nature is not peace, but war. Kant. Political exile has been the last refuge of many noble minds. In exile, Dante Alighieri wrote his finest poetry, and Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov forged the ideas that were to paralyze the world. It was in exile from German militarism that Karl Schurz made his scintillating contributions to American life, and in exile from Spanish reaction that Duc de Rivas wrote his notable books. A flood of exiles from Scotland founded the intellectual excellence of Canada, and daring adventurers thrown out of their native islands peopled the Pacific. The brilliant minds that conceived the atomic bomb for the United States were principally Jewish exiles kicked out of Nazi Germany. For 3 centuries, the United States profited from the political exiles who fled to our protection. It took the politicians of this generation to launch a reverse flow. Never pick up a girl before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If she's so beautiful, what's she doing out of bed before noon? If a young man, no matter how insecure, can't make it with the girls in Torremolinos, he had better resign from the human race. Zeus picked up Ganymede at the Wilted Swan. On his 20th birthday, Joe faced a problem of such complexity that he had to ask for help, and in this way he met Mrs. Rubin. His confusion had started 2 years earlier, when against his will he registered for the draft. He told the other fellows in high school, in the awkward sentences that characterized his attempts at communication, "How does that grab you? Can't order a beer, but can go to war." He had always been tall for his age, rangy rather than compact, and, in the style of his group, had begun to wear his hair rather long at the sides, noticeably so in the back. He had not been good enough in athletics to attract the attention of any college, or sufficiently intellectual to win an academic scholarship. About the only thing he had to show after graduating from high school was a wallet-sized piece of white cardboard attesting to the fact that he had registered for the draft and been automatically classified 1A. His real classification would come later, after he was called for his physical. Upon entering the university, he had been required to show his draft card, and the professor in charge seemed gratified that he had one. On his 19th birthday, he received an official letter, which scared the hell out of him. It was from his draft board, and was waiting for him when he got back from chemistry. For 10 agonizing minutes, he had been afraid to open it. "I'm not scared of war," he assured his roommate, a sallow-faced philosophy major from Nevada, "and I'm not a conscientious objector, but Vietnam bugs me. Jesus, I don't want to crawl through rice paddies." When he finally opened the letter, he found nothing but a mimeographed statement. "In view of your enrollment in the university, you are classified 2S, which you will keep until you graduate. However, you must inform this board of any change in your educational status." A new card was enclosed, which he had to show to college officials and bartenders. Even though he had managed good grades as a freshman, his sophomore year was proving difficult. The university he had chosen was no brain train like Berkeley, nor a mod squad like Stanford. It was one of the numerous solid institutions that dotted California and accounted for that state's superiority in so many fields. Where a state like Pennsylvania provided a college education for 31% of its high school graduates, California educated 73%, and this difference had to tell. Joe held his own with the competition, drawing down grades that kept him in college and out of the draft. It was this latter that engendered his moral crisis. 4 ugly events accumulated in a short period of time. They haunted him, could not be dismissed. Of itself, each was trivial, a thing young men would have been able to dismiss 10 years ago. Now, in the autumn of 1968, they coalesced to form a dreadful incubus. The first event was accidental. His roommate, who got almost straight A's and had done so throughout high school, was visited one day by an older boy named Carl, who had graduated the previous year. He was a big, able fellow who dropped by the room and lounged on the bed with a beer can. "No matter what they tell you," he pontificated, "take 3 education courses." The wise guys laughed when I dropped out of pre-law and took elementary ed. Diaper changing 3, they called it. All right, there in Vietnam. I'm salted away in an elementary school in Anaheim. I'm safe from the draft for the duration. He lolled back against the pillows, swigged his beer, and repeated his admonition. Take education. "How do you find teaching?" Joe asked. "Who gives a goddamn? You report in the morning. The kids are
Sample complete. Ready to continue?